Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Please excuse the way I sound. I have a very bad cold and I've been in bed rest for a few days, but I decided new year, new goals, and I want to be more active on my channel, so that is why I am here on the first of the month of the new year, recording, little demos here and there so that way you can see the process I take to clean my brushes, to do a makeup tutorial, whatever the case may be. I'm here to demonstrate on today's video how I clean my brushes and sponges. I'm only using just a couple of brushes and one sponge just to kind of give you an idea of how I clean them and disinfect them. So without further ado, if you'd like to see how I clean my brushes and sponges, then keep on watching. Alright guys, so I would show my face, but like I said, I am looking like a hot mess express. I have a cold that I'm trying to fight off, and I'm looking pretty dead, so I won't be showing my face today. I'm just going to be showing you the products that I will be using for this video, starting off with our Limelight by Alcone Come Clean Young Coconut Milk Brush and Sponge Shampoo. And I cannot tell you enough how amazing this shampoo is for your brushes and your sponges. It literally disinfects, takes away all the debris and all the product and makeup that's on your brushes and sponges. And this is vegan, and it is, I can't even talk, I'm sorry. And it is safe for your brushes, for your face. It is vegan, coconut, purified water, natural coconut oil, palm oil, sea salt, sodium hydroxide, tea tree essential oil. So this is super bomb. There's no chemicals in here. And this is what it looks like. Sorry, there's some glitter from some of my brushes that I washed a few days ago, but this is what it looks like. And I'm going to demonstrate with just a couple of brushes here so that you can see the power of this soap. And I will be showing you how I clean my sponge, which is very filthy. And it is actually yellow, the actual color of the sponge. So we're going to bring that back to life, and I'm going to show you how I do so with the Come Clean. So I'm going to start with this brush here. This is a white bristle brush. Clearly there's product in there. What I like to do is with the brush bristles and the soap as well, just rinse it, just lather it with water there, and just do 1-2 swirls. Literally, that is all you need. You don't need to sit there and swirl your brush in there because you will waste the soap. So just 1-2 for this particular brush because it's not that filthy. However, if your brush is stained and it hasn't been washed in a long time, you might need to do a couple more swirls. But let me just show you how it breaks down the makeup that's on the brush and brings it back to its original state, which is more of a bone color off-white because it's not an all-white bristle brush. But you will notice how it suds up with just a little bit of that Come Clean soap. Like I said, there's no need for you to swirl it in there that many times. Literally just 1 or 2 swirls in the soap is enough for you to get the brush clean. See how it suds up a lot? And that's just with 2 swirls. And once I rinse this out, you will see that the brush is thoroughly clean. You could use a cleaning tool if you like. I'm not washing all my brushes, so I'm just going to do this with my hands. And you will see how the brush is clean. There's no makeup on there. Yeah, so it's like a off-white bone color, but it is thoroughly clean. Here I go with another brush. Like I said, guys, sorry if I sound like I'm huffing and puffing or trying to catch my breath. I have a really bad cold, so please forgive me. 2 swirls. You can already see the makeup melting off of the brush, and it suds up in the palm of my hand. Look at all that product that's coming off. I see a lot of people just swirl and swirl their brushes in their soap. And you guys, if you want this product to last you a long time, you seriously do not need to swirl the brush in your soap. Literally 1 or 2 swirls, because look at all that soap that's in the brush with just a couple of swirls. Even 1 swirl will be enough, because these brushes are not that filthy. And this really, really breaks down all that gunk that's in the brushes. This soap, it's very, very concentrated, so a little bit does go a very long way. You see how it's thoroughly clean? Look at that. Very, very easy. This one's pretty filthy. There's different concealers on there, so this one is kind of filthy. So let's rinse the soap to get that residue from the brushes off. And then let's do a couple of swirls. 1, 2. Picked up enough soap. If you feel like, you know, the product is not breaking off of the bristles, then go ahead and swirl it again. Usually what I've noticed that with concealers and foundations, you might need a little bit more soap to break down the foundation and concealers. But when it's powders, honestly, it's very easy to come off. So this one might need a couple more swirls, because like I said, it was filled with concealers and it didn't suds up a lot. Oops, it's breaking off the concealers, but this one will need a few more swirls. So I'll just go in there and swirl it a few more times. Sometimes when the product is not breaking off the brush, I will just put the soap on here and let it sit on my counter, just so it can break it off and be easier for me to, you know, take all that makeup off while it's been sitting. And then I'll go after a few minutes and I'll do this hand motion here, take off all that makeup. This one is not it's not sudsing. Sorry, I don't know if that's the proper terminology for it, but it's not too much suds coming off of the bristles, because this one was filled with product. But I can see the product just coming off on the second round. So I'm pretty confident that this round will be sufficient for all the product to be off the bristles. So I don't feel like I need to go over it again. There it is, thoroughly clean. No product in between the bristles. This is the original color, the original state of the brush, and I'm just rinsing it with lukewarm water. And let's try another brush here. This one was a nice shadow brush. This one just needs probably 1 swirl. You see how it's already coming off. Just 1 swirl, guys. Look at that. All right. Look at that. Thoroughly clean. I do recommend, guys, I've seen a lot of people do this technique that I highly do not recommend. A lot of people will fill their sink up with water or a container with water and just dump all their brushes in there, which is very, very bad for the health of your brushes. You don't want to potentially loosen up the ferrule. This is the handle of the brush, and this is the ferrule, which is the top piece that is glued onto the handle. And when you leave your brushes soaking in water, it will eventually loosen up the glue that is holding onto the handle and your brushes will fall apart. Trust and believe. I've seen it happen before to women that just leave their brushes soaking in water and soap. You don't want to do that. You want to prolong the life of your brushes. So just wash them properly. I know, it's time consuming and tedious, but you do want to take care of your brushes because I don't know about you, but I like quality brushes, and quality brushes are not cheap. So I'm just moving on with the sponge here, my makeup sponge that I apply my foundation with, and as you can tell, it is pretty filthy. And I like to wet it thoroughly. And of course, rinse my soap. And this one might need more than just one swirl. Usually for my sponges, I let it soak and marinate, if you will, so that way I can really, really get those hard to reach stains. And as you can tell, I am swirling it a few more times in here because, like I said, the sponge will soak up a lot more product. So I'm trying to get all the way inside of the sponge and just lather the whole sponge. You don't have to use this much, quite honestly. Like I know I'm using way too much because I've used less before. And I like to just massage it. This one is pretty stained, so I might need another round. But as you can tell, it's already like breaking off the product. Can you see all that makeup in there? That's all you gotta do is just massage it all the way around. Work that soap all the way inside the sponge. And it will clean it inside out. Like the outside is already looking very, very good. But I'm not squeezing it too hard because I want to maintain a lot of that soap in the sponge and get all those outer stains off while I'm working the soap inside the sponge. Now, like I said, you can leave this on your counter just sitting there with the soap marinating so that it can break off the product a lot easier. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to skip that step just so you can see the steps that I take for me to clean my brushes. And look at that, it's literally almost brand new. Look at that beautiful yellow sponge back to life. There's still a little bit of debris in there and makeup, but once I rinse it off, when you squeeze it and if there's no color or bubbles, then your sponge is thoroughly washed. Look at that. If you see that there's stains on some of the areas, just massage that area. Break up that product. Oopsie. Just like so. Let me go ahead and give it a good rinse. I feel like this one still has a little bit of product in the middle. So I'm just going to go ahead and work that soap in the middle of the sponge here. And you want to make sure that you are thoroughly rinsing off your brushes and your sponges because you don't want it to be stiff when the bristles dry or when the brush or when the sponge dries. You don't want it to be stiff. So if it is stiff once it dries, then you probably didn't rinse the brush or the sponge thoroughly. So you want to make sure that when you wring it out, it's completely clear, just water. It's not, soapy and it's not dirty. And just make sure that you rinse it very well because you don't want, your bristles to be hard when you're applying your makeup. So this one looks very, very thoroughly clean. As you can see, the bubbles are super white, so that means that there's no more makeup in the sponge. right, that looks like it's very thoroughly clean. There's no soap coming out. There's no makeup coming out of the sponge. Look at that. Such a beautiful, beautiful, brand new yellow sponge compared to how it was when I first cleaned it. Super, super cleaned. Might be a little bit of stains there. Like I said, those stains will come off if you just let your sponge sit there with the soap. Massage it there a little bit and let it sit on your counter for just a few minutes. That way it can break off the product. But other than that, this sponge is gorgeous. Look at that. So that is all, folks. If you have any questions on where you can find this soap, please comment below, message me. I do have this on my website, so please feel free to comment on the video below or contact me via Facebook, and I will be more than happy to give you the link for my website for you to get your hands on this amazing brush soap. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Happy New Year!